life transition. I had, for lack of a better word, reached the top of the corporate world. Ambition, drive, success, corner office, shiny suit, cufflinks, all that good stuff. And what I realized is I was wondering why I wasn't happy. Why did the money, the power, and hey, I'm a money is important guy. Let me say that right off the bat. I literally made me my full-time job, my self-confidence, my self-respect, leading myself, courage, peace of mind, presence, happiness, with coaches, with mentors, with masterminds, with you name it, man. I was drinking from a high, listening to podcasts like this and reading books. And man, I tell you what happened in that 3 years. Tangibly, here's what happened, because I never planned on leaving the financial consulting world. I went from junior partner, senior partner, international practice leader, and elected to the board of directors and then owner at 39. Everybody else was in their 60s. Just by being a good dude and by being Tommy, not being that.
Awesome, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of It Is What It Is podcast. I am your host, Cody Kelly. Look, I have an amazing guest with an amazing book, amazing story. I hit him up on LinkedIn. He said, yes, I appreciate this, brother, man. But before we get into it, you know what you got to do to support this channel. You got to do a couple things. You got to subscribe to the YouTube page at YouTube CV Space K. We're all great podcasts is seen, heard, and felt. And we have our own supplement line. I'm into bodybuilding and whatnot. How you get your best pre-workout, the best supplements on the market. You go to www.cvmkglobal.store. Get your superpower, best pre-workout on the market. Women, I got your own personal Viagra with Glow Up. Get that as well. And men, don't fall behind the batting curve. Batter Up is for you. All products sold exclusively at www.cvmkglobal.store. And you know what to do. Hit me up on IG at cvmk33 and on the business page at cvmk_global. As you see, there is a theme to this madness. Well, look, I'm super excited. Amazing guest. Before I introduce him, I want to read his bio because sometimes, I get real cool guests and then all my guests are cool, but sometimes they don't come with a bio. So I would like to read this because he has a bio. So I'm going to make sure I can still read. So
hopefully it's not crappy.
Not at all. Not at all. Tommy Breedlove, the Wall Street Journal US Today's best-selling author of the book Legendary, and the founder of the Legendary Life Movement, a movement that empowers driven people to be pros in leadership, business, mindset, and their relationship. Tommy challenges high achievers to stop chasing the ghost of more and win, and lean into the legendary leaders, spouses, and humans that they were born to be. As a premier leadership, business, relationship, and mindset coach who is regularly featured keynote speaker at global events, Tommy started his 20-year corporate career at one of the largest financial and consulting firms in the world, and eventually became a shareholder, the international practice leader, and a member of the board of directors for one of the largest public accounting and financial firms in Southeast United States. At the top of his career, Tommy experienced a transformational moment, inspiring him to walk away from corporate world to change his life and follow his true calling. Tommy now serves clients and audiences everywhere by empowering them to build and live legendary lives. He guides people to discover a life of significance without compromise their drive or ambition. The simple tools he shares shows them how to work in their zone of brilliance, obtain financial confidence, and live with meaning and balance. The goal is to help everybody to become the person they've always wanted to be. And when Tommy isn't speaking or serving his clients, he enjoys traveling the world, hiking, and spending quality time with his wife and 2 dogs. Let's welcome Tommy to It Is What It Is podcast. How you doing today, man?
Cody, man, I am humbled to be here. And I don't know, after that first part of your intro, brother, I feel like the need to go out there and work out in the rain as soon as I get off this podcast.
I appreciate it. I try to bring it. I try to, be as energetic and inspiring as possible, man. I'm really into that. And, so some for me, man, I started, I wanted to control my diabetes and whatnot. So I really got into health and wellness, and I started going to GNC, and I was like, you start going, it's like, what does this do? What does this do? You have like 1,000 questions, and you realize like, I'm spending all this money, And I can't control it because there was things that I liked about certain products that wasn't available in other products. There was things that was too potent. So I decided, look, I'm gonna just create the universe I want to live within. And that's kind of how we came about CVMK Global. But
man, that is awesome. Awesome. That is just very cool. And by the way, you're a hell of a lot better reader than I am.
That is a fear. So my biggest fear every episode is that I'll forget my name and I'll forget how to do my sign on and sign off and read the cues. And it's just this fear of mine. One day I'll forget how to read, So my third grade teacher would approve of this message. So I've been trying.
Oh man, you crushed it. I'm from South Atlanta, so English is like a fourth language for me. So you did an awesome job, man.
I appreciate you. But look, Tommy, you've done all these amazing things, right? Before you get to actually writing the book Legendary, what went into it? What inspired you to I've come to this point, I've achieved the success of my life, and I feel like I'm at this point and I want to share with the world this idea of being legendary. How did you get there?
Man, I had so at 36 years old, I had gone through a major what I call life transition. I had for lack of a better word, reached the top of the corporate world. Ambition, drive, success, corner office, shiny suit, cufflinks, all that good stuff. And what I realized is I was wondering why I wasn't happy. Why did the money, the power, and hey, I'm a money is important guy. Let me say that right off the bat. I love T. Harv Eker's saying, if someone says money's not important, run from them, they're broke. But for me, coming from humble beginnings, tough beginnings in certain neighborhoods, I thought that just being more successful and driving out competing people were going to make me feel good inside. And what I realized is that the money I was earning was just a magnifying glass for my insecurity, for my fears, for my worries, which came out for me in arrogance, man. And when the money, the power, the corner office didn't light me up, I turned to just think of the Wolf of Wall Street, man. I lived it for 3 years. And I look up at 37 years old. I'm laying in a ditch in downtown Atlanta, wearing a suit, half dressed, wondering how I got here. And at that moment, man, I was like, you know what? I'm going to be the captain of my ship. I'm going to stop caring what other people think and live my life and not live life for others. Here's what happened. Now I'm getting to your point about the book.
Sure.
I literally made me my full-time job, my self-confidence, my self-respect, leading myself, courage, peace of mind, presence, happiness, with coaches, with mentors, with masterminds, with you name it, man. I was drinking from a high, listening to podcasts like this and reading books. And man, I tell you what happened in that 3 years. Tangibly, here's what happened, because I never planned on leaving the financial consulting world. I went from junior partner, senior partner, international practice leader, and elected to the board of directors and then owner at 39. Everybody else was in their 60s, just by being a good dude and by being Tommy, not being that arrogant guy who wore all the armor, tough guy, cool guy, important guy. But here's what happened in my life. My marriage went from almost life support to basically dead to the strongest it had ever been. I went from being arrogant to quiet to humble to peaceful. I went from one of the most hated people in the firm to one of the most beloved. And I found some peace of mind. And literally, I went from working 60, 70, 80 hours a week down to 30 and was even more successful. Well, that's the background. Sure. So what happens then? So here I am, a senior partner on the board. My financial certainty is set, but my network, entrepreneurs, corporate executives, venture capital, corporate, bankers, lawyers, professional, the people out there moving and shaking and the people running businesses reached out to me. And I thought they wanted financial advice or us to do another deal together. No, man, they wanted to grab a beer or coffee or go for a walk to just say, hey, dude, what did you do? What did you do? I don't know. You didn't give up your ambition or drive. You're just as successful as ever, but you seem different, happier, more quiet, peaceful. You're just being you. You're not trying to be something you weren't, because they saw it, right? Yeah. And after about the 20th person said, coach me or mentor me, and you got to write a book. You got to write a book, because my background is also kind of crazy. But so I finally had the courage to who's going to read it? Who cares? That whole negative Nilly perfectionist thing got in there. Yeah. But man, we wrote the book Legendary, and it became a Wall Street Journal and USA Today bestseller, because I think it's simple but actionable. You can apply this into your life, whether you want more time or more money or a better network or more intimacy with your spouse or friends or family, or you want to master that voice inside of your head that gets in there and says, hey, what if they figure out I don't know what I'm doing? So it talks about a holistic way of living a life. And I think it's written toward ambitious, driven men and women, and it's simple and it's executable. So we wrote it And then they're like, hey, will you coach me? And hey, why don't you run a retreat? Hey, why don't you run these experiences? Hey, start a mastermind. I'm like, well, shit, excuse my French. I was like, well, damn, this is a business.
Yeah.
And I don't even like financial consulting anymore. So I literally sold my equity, resigned my board seat, and went and chased this dream. And here we are X amount of years later, man, and we're serving ambitious, driven people in retreats, masterminds, experiences, and just loving life every day, man. So thank you. That's the origin of the book.
Cool. I like it. I got what's up? I'm super pumped. Just got done with another workout. It's your boy CVMK33 connected on Instagram and on the business page of CVMK_global. You know how I get through it. You know how I get that pump looked. Best pre-workout on the market. www.cvmkglobal.store. I got a couple questions for that. The first thing is, how do you turn it off? Anybody that is ambitious, like really driven, it's almost innate, right? Like you go to sleep thinking about the next deal, the next email, the next networking opportunity. You know, could I've done this better? How do I leverage this relationship? Like it's not that it's manipulative, but it's so ingrained in you that it's like, how do you turn it off? So that's gonna be my first question. And the second one leading into this, you know, anytime there's transformation, anytime there's what I would call a serious pivot, there has to be some level of fear, you know, because like you go from like this one day and it's like, okay, I'm this new person. I do miss the corporate American Express. I do miss the Starbucks, you know, every day, twice a day, you know. So the first question, I'll start there, man. Like, how did you get to a point that you wanted to turn it off?
The truth is, man, I have never turned it off.
Okay.
That's the truth. Is the problem with us ambitious, driven entrepreneur and corporate types is we're swimming to a horizon, man. And think about when we were younger. I don't know how you were raised, but you know, when Deloitte offered me $30,000, I heard like 3 million because I was making $6 an hour right before that in a factory. And so, you know, first it starts at 30 and then you want to make 50 and then you want to make 100 and the horizon keeps moving. And what I love about ambitious driven humans is that's where significance and impact and innovation and businesses and employment and, you know, all the good things that this country gives. So I don't want to turn it off. What I tell people is, but I don't want you to do it at the cost of your health, of your family, of your friends, and more importantly, in my case, my integrity. You know, chasing that next deal or that next win, and my marriage is on life support, or trying to impress people who don't matter. And you know, I love the statement: "Don't make people who don't matter matter." And for me, it's not about turning it off. It's about prioritization. We're still going to spend the majority of our waking moments in our careers and our businesses and driving forward. And I don't want to take that away. I don't want to take it away from you, and I don't want to take it away from me. But what I want to do is shift the paradigm. We like to say our friends and family are first. Let's just call that spade bullshit. No, it's not. Our businesses are first.
Yeah.
And then our friends and family are second. And here's the problem. We put ourselves last. So the entire legendary movement is about helping ambitious driven people shift the paradigm to us first. Now I'm talking quality over quantity. I'm not saying spend 5 hours a day on a mountaintop meditating. I'm not doing that. Let the monks out the East do that.
Yeah.
What I'm telling you is, though, it's how are we going to lead others if we're not leading ourselves? How are we going to respect others if we don't truly respect ourselves? How are we going to be confident, show confidence out in the marketplace when we're not truly confident? So I tell everybody every single day between 30 minutes an hour, you got to work on your physical muscles. Sounds like you're world class and badass at that, Cody. You got to work on your mental, emotional, and spiritual game as well.
Right.
Because it's not if life happens, it's when. So we got to lead ourselves first, respect ourselves first, love ourselves first, and stand with humble confidence and courage so that we can go out and lead others to do the same. So that's the entire shift. But again, it's about quality, not quantity. The second thing we emphasize is prioritize your family, friends, and network. Again, quality, not quantity. If you spend a good 30 minutes with your family a day and it's pure quality, they're going to love that and love you for the rest of your life. If you spend 30 minutes to an hour with your friends a couple times a week, they're going to love, quality time. And the rest, go out there and just kick it and do it, man. But we've got to shift the paradigm. So that's how I say it. You never turn it off. And you never turn off the voice in your head, but you can mitigate it. You can quiet it. You can prioritize, and you can reconquer your time. The choice is up to you. And I think for ambitious people, we got to realize the only power we have on this earth is choice. And what choices are we going to make? And what actions are we going to take? Intentional actions are we going to take to serve ourselves first so we can be as strong as we can be, to then serve our friends and family, to then ultimately serve our businesses. And I promise you, if we do in that order, you will be a whole lot more happy, a whole lot more fulfilled, a whole lot more courageous, and a whole lot more successful. Question 2. You said, how do I mitigate the fear? Okay, so I walked away from my financial, and I'm not being arrogant here, it's just the truth. My financial security was set. I was 39 years old and at the very top of the game. But I knew if it was all about the money that I would live life with regrets. I wanted to chase this dream of entrepreneurship. So what I had to do, again, you never get rid of the fear, but I had to get rid of all of the negative Nellies in my life, the emotional vampires, the people who said, you're crazy, you're a fool. Look at you. You spent 20 years building this career and you're just going to throw it away over a stupid dream. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm going to get in the arena. And what I'm not going to do is look back and think of woulda, shoulda, coulda. Right. So my wife was unconditionally supportive. The right people in my network were unconditionally supportive, and they were helping me. Like I was leaning, like I had great coaches. I was leaning on my coaches to be better. I was in a mastermind. I was leaning on my mastermind to help me not screw this up and to keep me going and to not let me cower back into fear. It took time. And again, that's why I say we got to prioritize ourselves first. So every day I was working on that courage muscle, that self-esteem muscle, that confidence muscle. But I surrounded myself with only people who lifted me up and made me better. I fired everybody else, including family members. I fired them. I made sure I wasn't listening to negative news, and both sides are negative. You just turn it on for 5 minutes, you feel your shoulders dropping. And I just surrounded myself with people, with systems, with with coaches, with masterminds. That's how I mitigated the fear. And by the way, I'm still in the retreat, experience, mastermind, and coaching business. And guess what I pay for? I pay to be in masterminds. I pay for coaches. I pay for books because I want to be as best in my craft and best the version of Tommy that I can be so I can lead others. That's how I mitigated those two things, my friend.
I like it. It's hard to be truthful with yourself. Where we lack because of choice or inherited disposition, and then having the willingness to pivot. Rewire it. Like it's a real thing and a not necessarily a challenge, but it is a responsibility, right? It's a responsibility that it's easier to avoid than it is to say I'm gonna do it, right?
Avoid or numb. It's really easy to numb as well. TV, drugs, alcohol, sex, you know, video games, working more. It's easy to numb as well.
That's true.
Let me tell you, you said something powerful, Cody. I don't want to leave it. You said something powerful, and I want your audience to hear this because I have a feeling that the people listening to this will relate to this. Do you know, and you said it, and I don't even know if you said it. Did you know what the number one failure in leadership? And here's the great thing about leadership. If it's applicable at your business, it is 100% applicable in your life too. Whether it's your relationship with your significant other, your spouse, your friends, the number one failure in leadership is self-awareness. Knowing thyself. So part of our movement at the beginning, when you join us, is we want to take you from ignorance to awareness. But here's the problem. Once you're aware, you can't become unaware. And you can either use it as guilt and shame, or you can use it as a platform to stand on to transform. So we want people to really know themselves, know their strengths, their weaknesses, their worries, their insecurities, their fears, their triumphs. But then how do we transform and start rewiring our heart, mind, soul, and body to be the best version of ourselves so that we can be masters and start teaching it to others? So that's what we're all about. So number one is knowing thyself, and self-awareness is the number one failure in life and leadership. And you said it, my friend.
That's true. You mentioned in your writing, there's this difference between high achievers and mastery. And I I've been thinking about that, when I came across that, I was like, one would assume that if I win, I've mastered something, but that's very base and is not always true. You can win at a specific thing, ignoring the variables that help get you there, right? Like, perfect example, love sports, I think there was the assumption that, the Patriots could win without Tom Brady, and you start realizing no, a lot of that was really Tom. The Patriot way is a combination of Belichick and Tom, not one or the other. And even though Tom has had success post Belichick, it hasn't been as automatic as before because mastery is a different discipline.
Yep.
Whether it's shirts on or shirts off, you want to look and feel your best. Summer's here, you know how you looked at. To be at your best, the best drip, best supplements. I got with me the best pre-workout on the market, Superpower, only at www.cv, as in Vernon, mkglobal.store. Whether it's shirts on or shirts off, you want to look and feel your best. Best intro and post-workout recovery. These are saucy, only at www.cvmkglobal.store. How do you go about establishing this mastery?
So I'm going to take it a different direction, but I'm going to answer your question. So mastery to me is, I'll do mastery. It's ignorance to awareness to transformation to mastery, doing the reps every single day in your craft. Like, what is your zone of brilliance? Where does your God-given talents meets the things that you love doing? And you got to master that craft. And true mastery comes when you start mentoring and teaching others to do that, because it's like see one, do one, teach one. Yeah. But the only way to master anything, but I'm going to take it in a different direction here in a second, because you can achieve great success and mastery in a craft and be an absolute disaster in life. Think about all the musicians, athletes. Hell, look at our politics right now. They've gotten all the way to the top, high achievement. They've been elected in some of the highest offices known to man. I'm talking left and right. I pick on them both. I'm not a political guy. Yeah. But you're talking about high achievers who are disasters in life. They're like children playing in a sandbox fighting over a ball. Mm-hmm. And so there's mastery in your craft, doing the reps every day to being world-class and badass in your craft. Is it sales? Is it innovation? Is it marketing? Is it coaching? Is it teaching? Is it empowering? Is it building things? Leadership, IT, it doesn't matter. That's how you become a master. And then when you start teaching it, you become a leader and a mentor, and that's where you really master it. But the reason I want to take a little different direction is you see all these examples of great CEOs or I'm a sports guy too, or musicians who are world-class and badass in their crafts, but then they hang themselves or OD or make a major integrity breach and get locked up forever because they stole money from somebody they didn't even have to steal. See, Bernie Madoff, he didn't even have to steal it. He was already wealthy. He was just not a master at life. And so money and success and high achievement is a magnifying glass. If you work on yourself and want to be a courageous, loving, ambitious, fulfilled leader, it's going to magnify that. If you want to make impact, it's going to magnify that. If you want to live a life of significance, it's going to magnify that. If you want to be a complete ass and step on everybody's face just to win and then live life have all these regrets at the end and woulda, coulda, shouldas, money will magnify that as well. So I see it as different as high achiever and mastery, but not only mastering your craft, but mastering your life. And they're both lifelong journeys because we never truly get there. I mean, look at Tom Brady. He's still doing the work, man.
That's true.
People show up in the gym and do the shots every single day. That's mastery. But we need to apply the same into our mental, emotionally, physical, spiritual world too, because it's not if life happens, it's when. And by the way, just because we're a master now, there's always going to be somebody a little bit better coming.
That's true. And I do like that. It's when life because life is going to happen. The unfortunate thing is this thing moves into an ultimate end, right? Yeah. And you have to be present at all points of the phase of life. And I think what's missing from just society, and like I said, it's not a left or a right issue, is that there is a process to everything, and the process can't be averted, nor shall it be ignored. It's just a truth of life. And instead of, I think doing the hard work, and I think everybody coming to an agreement that everybody has to put their weight in and dig and concede a little bit and really push toward this mark, right? This goal.
It's personal accountability is what I'm hearing.
Accountability, and accountability isn't cool because it's not hot, right? Like nobody wants to be held accountable for anything, so it's easier to, and not without fault, but it's easier to evade accountability, right? So you hit upon this, and this got me thinking. You talked about this life is a moving target. It is a horizon, and I think, unfortunately, a lot of individuals spend too much time chasing the pot of gold, right? That isn't there, right? It's not that you can't obtain it. It's just that the benchmarker will always move, and
corner always moves.
Yeah, and I totally agree. When I first got to college, I was like, man, if I could make $30,000, my life would be so much better and be happy. And then you make it, you'd be like, this is miserable. If I can make $50,000, I'll be so much happier. Then you make it like, this is miserable. Then you start moving 75, then 100. Like you start realizing like there is because I haven't became a billionaire yet, but I'm sure there is a number where you're like, this is pretty cool, but I don't think it's finite. I don't think it's like, is it 200 million? Is it 300 million?
Well, I pretty much know the answer because I've got clients who are just getting out. All my clients, I'm not for everybody.
Yeah.
You don't have to be successful to be in the legendary life movement. You just got to want to be successful.
Sure.
And we've got to unwire the entitlement and the victimhood that society just hammers into us every day. And we got to look in the mirror and know that's the problem and the solution. So you don't have to be successful yet. You just have to want to be successful and want to make impact. And by the way, be a pretty decent person too. We're not really in the asshole business.
Yeah.
But there is a point. And I'm going to tell you the number that I've seen because I've got guys in my stable that are worth up to 700-800 million and no B's yet, but they're getting close. And then guys and gals who are just getting started out around the $50 million mark, regardless of your lifestyle, unless you're just a complete screw up. Yeah. I mean, you got to really work hard at it. I mean, work hard. And I've seen it done. The safety, the legacy, impact that you want to make, but again, that with that still comes complications. The more money, more problems. I mean, it was said with great wisdom, and that's the absolute truth. Because in the pursuit of simplicity, to me, success equals freedom.
Right.
But on the journey to freedom, regardless of what you have in the bank account, your life becomes very complex. There's more assets, there's more legal, there's more chance of lawsuits, people trying to take things from you. You have to protect things. Now you have to live behind walls. And it's all this, on the pursuit of success becomes complication. And that's just the way life is. But around that mark, you get to kind of pick and choose. Do I want to invest it here? Want to do this? Do I want to experience this? Do I want to experience that? And then it just kind of goes up from there. But remember, the more you have, the more complicated it becomes. The more legal it becomes. The more it's a very different, be careful what you wish for. And then with fame is a whole different kind of deal. So money's one thing and fame's a different thing, but they usually come hand in hand. But fame, man, could you imagine being Tiger Woods and not being able to go to Dunkin' Donuts with your son and having a cup of coffee and a donut? I mean, everybody in the world would be all over top of you.
I know.
So you got to be careful what you wish for, but just remember that money, wherever you go, there you are. And if you're a happy person with money, you're going to exude that happiness and do great things with it. If you're a miserable person with money, look out. Look out. But it is a moving horizon. And what I encourage people to do is if you want to look back, because we're never going to stop chasing the horizon. And I call it the ghost of when and more. Like when I have this, I'll be happy. When I have more of this, I'll be happy. Well, you're lying to yourself because you're never going to be happy. Because if you're not happy now, it doesn't matter what you have then. You still won't be happy. What I encourage ambitious, driven people to do is turn around and look how far they've come. Look where you started to where you are now. Even if you're 3 days into this journey, at least you're 3 days in. Turn around and say, hey, at least I started the journey. Hey, at least I had the desire to be different. Because when you turn around and look back, you can see your progress. You can see the gratitude in what you've achieved or what you want to achieve. you're standing on gratitude and not lack. Because when you're looking forward to that never moving horizon, that's lack and scarcity and fear. But when you're looking backwards, it's appreciation, that's gratitude, and it's a measurement of how far you come. Doesn't matter if you're one day in this journey or 30 years in this journey. You can look back and look at what you've accomplished, what you succeeded in, what you failed. And I don't believe in failures. I believe in learnings. Sure. And so what I encourage us ambitious driven people is just turn around and look backwards and see the progress that you made. Look at it with gratitude and look at it with appreciation and celebrate it, damn it. Because life's too short. Because what you don't want to look at is always be chasing the horizon. And then you're 80 years old, is your Southside English, and you still haven't caught that sunset because you can't. And so always look back, gratitude, appreciation, and where you've come from. And that's what I love about this life.
Awesome. Gratitude, appreciation, and where you come from. Look, it has been an absolute pleasure. It's been an absolute honor and a pleasure, man, to have you on the podcast. Tommy, where can they connect with you? Where can they support you, follow you on social media, and buy the book?
Yeah, the book is everywhere, man. And if you're not a reader, I'll read it to you. It's on Audible. So just go there and I'll read it to you. But it's under electronic, hardback, softback, airports. I don't want to say one bookstore because the other ones get mad, but it's everywhere. Just go look for it. And you'll find it whatever format you want. It is a simple playbook on reconquering your time, finding purpose, making more money, mastering your mindset, but more importantly, living the good life and having great relationships and a great network and really living life on your terms. And so it's actionable and it's simple to read and fast. Books everywhere. If you want to follow us or learn about any of our masterminds or community, the Legendary Life Masterminds, retreats, communities, go to TommyBreedlove.com. It's at Tommy Breedlove on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. I mean, we're always putting out life tips and business tips and mindset and leadership, money tips. We put out goodness. No politics or religion on our page. So just come find us. We're all over Tommy Breedlove on Instagram, Tommy Breedlove everywhere. But go to TommyBreedlove.com. Come to a retreat. Come join our community. Listen to the book. Check us out, man. Dip your toe with us, and we'd love to walk this journey with you. We don't claim to be gurus or sages on the stage. We're just an independent place and an ecosystem and a community walking shoulder to shoulder and on this thing called life, business, and success. So thanks for letting me share that, Cody.
No problem. Y'all connect with Tommy Breedlove. Go to his website, TommyBreedlove.com. Hit him up on Instagram, LinkedIn, and wherever he is. Buy the book, Legendary. And if you want to keep seeing amazing influencers and leaders like Tommy, you know what you got to do. Hit me up. Follow me on IG at CVMK33. Go to the website, www.cvmkglobal.stores. Get your pre-workout today. We're all best supplements and drip hit me up on subscribe to the YouTube page at YouTube CV space K. And until next time, guys, thank you so much.